Hey there, folks. I'm going to come back and talk about the Shadow Systems DR920P. I've had a little bit of time with the gun now, and I've done a lot of side-by-side shooting with the Glock 47. At this point, I have a much more formed opinion of it, as you may remember if you follow the channel. When I started shooting this, I was a little bit ambivalent about it. It's kind of like, well, the pros, maybe the grip angle you like, the optic mounting system, I think people think is quite clever. Apart from that, it's a Glock clone, right? So it's supposed to do Glock things. After shooting it a while, well, now I have a better formed opinion on it. So firstly, I would say I don't like the way this thing feels when I shoot it as much as the Glock 47. Um, Now there's not a lot in it as far as how these guns are set up, and you'll see they're set up similarly. This is a Radiant Ramjet afterburner comped Glock 47 that I've shot before and talked about before. This isn't a stock Glock, but whatever. We're kind of comparing like for like if you think about it. Well, they don't feel the same when they reciprocate. I would say the Shadow Systems gun is snappier. It's a little bit harsher. This one feels a little pushier, but I like the feel of it better. There's not a lot in it in terms of the feel. They both shoot fine, with a couple of exceptions. So with the Shadow Systems gun, one thing I would say is, like, aside from not liking the feel of the recoil impulse as much, I don't believe it's as accurate as the Glock 47. Now, again, I've this isn't the factory barrel, but I've shot the factory barrels a lot, and I do believe this barrel's about on par with the factory barrels. I just don't think this one's as accurate. Does that matter for most people? No. I've got to be shooting from like 50 yards to really be like, yeah, man, I don't think this gun's as consistent. Like, I just don't believe that. I'm not super good at that stuff, but I'm good enough that I just feel like, man, I don't believe it's as accurate. Do I think that's a huge deal in practical terms? No, I don't. Um, Bigger problem with this is this gun is, I mean, if you go read through the comments on the Shadow Systems videos, uh, this gun is experiencing some of those problems. So it's failed to go into battery a couple times, failed to extract a couple times. Um, it's not as reliable, this example at least, as the Glock 47. So, like, looking at it that way, at this point, I can't recommend this, that anybody would buy this. I I wouldn't buy one. I don't think it makes sense, even though some things about it are interesting. Um, I'm gonna stick with what my initial impression was. Like, if I want a Glock, I will just buy a Glock. That's kind of how I feel about it. It's a shame. I want the gun to be good, but I mean, yeah, look, even when you reciprocate the slide, it just feels kind of chunky going into battery. It's like, I'm not surprised it doesn't want to go into battery a little bit. Compared to the Glock, much smoother to me, and it feeds really well and all that. So there it is, guys. That's the verdict for me anyway on the Shadow Systems guns. 2,000 rounds on that gun, and I'm not interested in shooting any more rounds on that gun, and I wouldn't buy one. So there it is.